the place we said we'd never go back to. When we were kids, there was a stretch of woods just past the edge of town that nobody really talked about. It wasn't haunted or anything like that, at least not officially. It was just avoided. The kind of place parents would mention once, casually, "Don't go past the old fence line," and then never explain why. Of course, that made us want to go even more. I was 12, Ethan was 13. We'd been best friends since kindergarten, the kind that were always outside, always looking for something to do. That summer was especially boring, so one afternoon we grabbed our bikes and headed toward the woods. We crossed the old rusted fence we'd seen 100 times but never gone past. At first, it felt normal. Dry leaves, bugs buzzing, the smell of dirt and pine. But the deeper we went, the quieter it got. Not peaceful quiet, just empty. Ethan noticed it first. "Do you hear that?" he asked. I said no. "That's the problem," he said. No birds, no wind, nothing. We kept going anyway. About 10 minutes in, we saw something off the trail. Not a trail, really, just a break in the trees where people had clearly walked before. There was a patch of disturbed ground, like something had been dug up or buried. Ethan stepped closer. I remember grabbing his shirt, telling him to leave it alone. He didn't. He nudged the dirt with his shoe, and that's when we saw it. At first, it just looked like a pale shape under the soil. Then it moved slightly when the dirt shifted. A hand. Gray. Still. Half buried. I don't remember deciding to run. We just did. We didn't stop until we were back at our bikes. Then we rode all the way home without saying a word. That night, I told my parents. Police came out the next morning. They found the body exactly where we said it would be. An adult male, no ID, been there a while. For a few weeks, it was all anyone talked about. Then slowly, like things do in small towns, it faded. No arrest, no answers. Ethan and I made a promise after that. We would never go back there again. 10 years passed. We both left town after high school, but life has a way of circling you back. I moved back first. Ethan came a few months later. We hadn't really talked about the woods since we were kids. It was one of those things that sat quietly in the background, acknowledged but never revisited. Until one night. We were sitting on my porch, a couple beers in, talking about old times, and Ethan brought it up. "You ever think about that day?" he asked. I laughed it off at first, but he didn't. "I've been thinking about it a lot lately," he said. "Like, what if we went back?" I shook my head immediately. No chance. But he kept pushing. "Just to see it. We're not kids anymore." That was his argument. We're not kids anymore. Somehow, that made it worse. A week later, I found myself standing at the same rusted fence. Ethan was already there. "Figured you'd show," he said. I almost didn't. We climbed over. The woods hadn't changed. Same smell, same silence. And just like before, the deeper we went, the quieter it got. It hit me immediately. That same wrong feeling. Like we weren't supposed to be there. We followed the same rough path we had as kids. I didn't remember the exact route, but my body did. It felt familiar in a way I didn't like. Then Ethan stopped. "Right here," he said. I looked around. The ground looked normal at first. Then I saw it. Disturbed soil. Fresh. My stomach dropped. "No," I said. "No, we're not doing this again." But Ethan was already stepping closer. "Ethan, seriously." He knelt down and brushed some dirt away with his hand. I couldn't move. Didn't want to. But I already knew what he was going to find. He froze. Didn't say anything for a few seconds. Then, quietly, "It's another one." I walked over, even though every part of me was telling me not to. And there it was. A body. Not decomposed, not old, fresh. The skin still had color, clothes intact. It hadn't been there long. That's what made it worse. 10 years apart, same spot, same thing. We called the police again. This time, they didn't brush it off. They asked us everything. Why we came back, how we knew where to look. And that's when it hit me. We didn't just find it. We went straight to it. Like we remembered exactly where to go, even though neither of us had been there in a decade. One of the officers asked us a question I still think about. "Did anyone else know you were coming out here today?" We both said no, but later, when we were sitting in separate rooms, they asked it again. And I realized something. A few days before we went, Ethan had posted an old photo. The woods, that fence. Captioned, "Crazy what you remember after 10 years." The second body was identified within a week. A man reported missing 3 days earlier. That means whoever did it was still around.